Hello, everybody out there from Nexus Con. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for jumping into this game of Call of Cthulhu. I'm joined here by a wonderful team of folks who are going to be diving into some eldritch horror. Let's get them to introduce themselves. Patrick, do you want to go first?
Hey there. My name is Patrick Nguyen. I work as a QA at Big Amp Studios. I just got roped in here. Let's see how this goes. Hope I don't die first.
Should be fantastic. Great. Sarah, do you want to go next?
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Cosplay. You can find me on Instagram, that's SARE Cosplay. This is my first time playing this game, so we'll see how we go.
All right, great. And last but not least.
Hey guys, my name is Chris Stanley, also known as Cosplay Chris, and this is also my first time playing this game, and wouldn't say I'm much of a gamer, so this is going to be pretty amusing to watch.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know Call of Cthulhu is a tabletop role-playing game. It's a horror tabletop role-playing game, which means that all kinds of spooky eldritch things tend to happen. And we're going to be playing a very quick introduction scenario called the Necropolis. So without further ado, let's jump straight in. So we are going to start off this story in Egypt, in the Valley of the Kings, in November of 1924. Now, this is during a period of history where there is a sudden rush of all kinds of archaeologists into Egypt to do all kinds of excavations and research all throughout that area. The place is positively lousy with archaeologists. You can't throw a stone without crashing into one of them. And as archaeologists or people working in the field of archaeology, like the collection of you are, it has been quite difficult for you to find places to excavate. It's quite difficult to find work, it's a competitive industry. Fortunately, the collection of you, who are all working together as a band, have caught wind of a pyramid that is a little hidden away from all the rest. One that maybe hasn't been totally explored, and you will have the opportunity to dive into it and to research it and do all kinds of things there. So with a team of local workers and all of your skills put together, you have managed to travel across the sands and arrive at this strange hidden pyramid. They've been there for a couple of days. You've been working around trying to break open the door of the pyramid so that you can get into the depths and begin work. It's a camp set up around. It's hot. It's boiling. It's hard work. Can I get everybody to give a brief description of their character, tell us their name, what they look like, and how you think they'd be coping with working in the Egyptian heat? Who wants to jump in first?
Sarah?
Yeah, okay. So, hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Sarah Sapir. I'm a professor of languages, and I've been stuck studying Germanic languages at a university in England for quite some number of years, but I'm desperate to prove myself because I want to specialize, or I am specializing, in hieroglyphics. So that's what brought me to Egypt a couple of years ago. I've been living here ever since, so I am well and truly used to the heat. This is not bothering me at all. In fact, I can converse with the locals as well, so they treat me rather well and bring me water when I need it.
Fantastic.
But yeah, looking forward to delving deeper into this pyramid we've found.
Great. So you are doing just perfectly with all the work that is happening. You're used to the heat. This is easy, and you're excited. You're going to get to go into a pyramid and read all these hieroglyphics. This is great. Brilliant. All right. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. Yeah.
Great.
My name is John Finley. It's been a dry season when it comes to finding some archaeological dig. I am an archaeologist that has been working really hard at trying to find something of note, but everything I'm looking at here has been reduced to rubble, and there's nothing interesting at all about it. And I just need to get that one tangible little thing I can claim as my own. That's my claim to success, and I would need it so badly. And hopefully, with this dig site, and my crew, we'll be able to find something that's worthwhile for me to collect.
This is important for you. You have to get it. You have to make your name. You have to come back with some kind of serious, real discovery. All right, that's fantastic. Great. And Kruger, what about you?
My name's Kruger, ex-soldier. I fought in Egypt during the Great War. I was dishonorably discharged from the army due to an incident with an officer that ended in fisticuffs.
Ooh.
So fighting's all I know, but now I'm back in Egypt supporting archaeologists in digs in the Valley of the Kings. But I need to impress the boss and ensure they keep me on the payroll. Because like I said, fighting's all I know. But I hear there's some murmurs going on around here on the dig sites at the moment.
All right. So there's been some suspicious things happening, and you need to keep an eye out. So the collection of you have been working all throughout the day and toiling away in the heat, which some of you are able to stand better than others. When finally, after what feels like weeks and weeks of work, the head of the camp suddenly comes charging into the tent where the collection of you are eating their breakfast and says, we've broken through, we can go in, it's open. And you all stand up and you run and you dash towards the door of the pyramid, and you can see it extended before you. And there are a group of your team of local workers who have hoisted up this enormous rock and are holding it in the air, and you can see a tunnel leading into the dark that will take you into the depths of the pyramid. The head of the camp, excited. We need a name for the head of the camp. Chris, do you want to make up a random name for the head of the camp? Just a first name's fine, whatever you feel like.
Alpha 5.
Alpha 5. Perfect. All right. So Alpha 5, it's a European name, is going to quickly motion to the collection of you and say, come through. We can enter at last. And all of you walk forward into the cave, and we will begin the adventure. Just as to the side, you see one of the local workers go, it's too heavy. And the rope darts out of their hands, and this enormous rock that is suspended in the air comes tumbling down, and with a huge crash and explosion of dust and rubble, you're all thrown forward and plunged into complete darkness. Everything is black. You can't see a thing. You're trapped inside the pyramid, surrounded by stale air. What would you like to do?
Damnable fool. Of course they would ruin this. Ugh. Now we can't get out. We have to find another way out later on. But we're here now. We've got to find something.
You can hear
the
voice of the archaeologist coming out in the dark and reassuring you all, there'll be another way out. There'll be another way out.
We need to find light.
We definitely need to find light. That's step one.
We need a torch of some sort. We need, if anyone has a lighter or matches or something.
Well, why don't you all take a look at the character sheets that you have. Now, some of you might have in your inventory some... perfect. What do you have, Sarah?
So it turns out I smoke cigars. So I actually have...
Ooh, perfect.
I've got both cigars and matches on my person.
Ooh. Okay, perfect. So you take out a match and open it up, and there's a faint sort of puff of light. You see the area around you, and you're trapped inside this tomb. You can see ahead of you a corridor that leads straight down into the dark. The walls are covered with beautiful ancient hieroglyphics. And behind you, there is just this pile of rubble. And poking out from it at the bottom is the poor, crushed body of Alpha 5, lying on the ground, face twisted into some terrible visage of agony. And you're all so overcome at seeing poor Alpha 5 that I'm going to need everybody to make a sanity check. So, Patrick, you have dice. You can make your sanity check. So just roll against your sanity score, and you want to roll underneath it.
What do I roll? 2D10.
2D10, so a D100. Now, the two of you, Sarah and Chris, I need you both to tell me what your sanity is, and I'm going to make this roll for you since I have dice. So have a look on your character sheet, and you should see a sanity score. It's going to be one of the boxes, and it will say sanity at the side.
I got a 23.
You got a 23. Okay, 23 is good.
40
You're managing
is
to
my
hold
sanity.
yourself together. You're not getting too worried. If you can't find the sanity section, don't worry.
I got 50.
You got 50? Okay, we'll make that roll. All right, so you've rolled an 80, which means that you're not holding it together too well. You see this body and you immediately flash back to some of the conflict that you've been in and feel terror overtake you. And I just want you to mark down on a piece of paper that you have now lost 1 sanity point.
Gotcha.
Hopefully, this won't be the first of many. Now, Professor, what about yourself? Have you found your sanity?
Yes, my sanity is 60.
All right, so I'm going to roll for you as well. 47. So you're holding yourself together too. You're managing pretty well. What do you think it is that manages to keep you calm? What do you just, does the sight of blood not bother you too much, or are you so excited by the hieroglyphics?
To be honest, I was really distracted by the hieroglyphics. I'm just a tunnel vision kind of girl, you know. Like
Fair enough.
Hieroglyphics, and I went, we don't have time to worry about Alpha 5, although condolences to him and his family.
Yes, of course. but he died so that such a glorious discovery could be made. So it's all good. Now, you've got a little bit of light. It's not a ton, and you have to keep lighting matches every now and again. In fact, you probably want to light a cigar or something like that.
Before you do, I have 4 candles on me. I'm going to take it out and ask, here, use this.
Okay,
I
great.
give a candle to each person.
So now all of you have a candle which you are holding in front of you. And you're looking around. You can see these hieroglyphics. And so what are the collection of you doing? I think, Professor, you may want to go and look at the hieroglyphics, I would assume, is your first course of action. So you're going to be heading towards there. And what about the rest of you? Kruger and Professor Finley, what will you be doing?
Oh, now that you look at the hieroglyphs, I'm going to take a look at some more of the constructs around, see if there's any like maybe hidden buttons or anything that might be around, or any plates, pressure plates or anything like that might be around. Who knows what's going to be here.
Sure. Okay. So you start patting down on the walls and making sure that you aren't missing some kind of button that will clear all the rubble and free you. Meanwhile, Kruger, you're standing there, you're not an expert on this kind of stuff, but you've got a practical mind. Maybe you can find a way out or something. What would you like to do?
There's got to be an opening somewhere in the ceiling, or a weak spot or a weak point. Surely.
Okay. Great. So do you want to start kind of walking through the corridor and having a look around, trying to spot, see if you can see a passage or an ingress or anything like that?
Good idea.
All right, great. So first of all, Patrick, I'm going to get you to make an archaeology roll. Now, Sarah, can you please tell me what your Egyptian hieroglyphic skill is? Should be other language hieroglyphics on the first page.
Just a second.
Take your time, and then I'll get you, Chris, to tell me what your spot hidden skill is. One of the key skills in Call of Cthulhu. You always want to be able to spot what is hidden.
Where would I find that?
That will be on the first page. It will be one of your skills. So you'll see a large list of various skills. If you have a little trouble finding it, no worries. I will help you find it.
So investigator skills.
Yep. Spot hidden. They're alphabetically organized, so it should be in the later columns.
Spots hidden, 25%.
I got a 30 for that.
You got a 30 for your archaeology? Okay, good to know. We will come back to that in just a moment.
I've got 45 for spots hidden.
45 for spot hidden? Okay, perfect. All right. So I'm going to make your spot hidden roll. Ooh, 65. Bad luck. Okay, so it's just a little. So no, you're a little still too shaken, and you're looking around. You're walking down these hallways, but this is a tight, dark area. It's cramped. You can't see anything. You walk all the way along the corridor, and as you run your hands along it, you feel nothing but smooth stone. Eventually, you come to the very end, and you can see ahead of you a table and a book upon it, but you're trapped, just a tiny corridor, nothing interesting, no way out, except under the table there's a passageway, maybe that wide, tiny, cramped. Perhaps someone could squeeze through it, but it's minuscule.
Maybe a professor of some sort?
Possibly. Meanwhile, the two of you going back. So we'll come back to your archaeology roll in a second. Did you find your hieroglyphic score?
Yes, 70.
70. Okay, you are truly an expert. So I'm going to make this roll. Ooh, 80, I'm afraid. So unfortunately, you look at these hieroglyphics, and you know what? It's almost exciting, because as you begin to move your hands across them and look, you say, these are strange. They don't quite follow the patterns that you would expect. And there's all kinds of strange symbology. Now, you can't read it directly, but you manage to get some kind of basic interpretation. They seem to be talking about something called the Shadow Pharaoh. And what that could be, well, who knows? Meanwhile, archaeology with a 30. Now, let me ask you, what's your archaeology skill?
The skill is 70.
Okay, 70. Now, how Call of Cthulhu works, if you roll below half of your skill, that's considered to be a hard success, which is a little bit like a critical hit. You know, you've done really well. If you ever roll below a fifth of your skill, then that's an extreme success, and even better things happen. With a hard success, you know, you're padding through, you're going through all the rubble, looking for buttons and everything like that. You move the body of Alpha 5 to make sure that there's nothing there, you know, very respectfully. Sorry, old chap. And eventually, you're able to determine that there's no secret passages behind you. There's nothing there. But with a hard success, I will say that as you walk forward and head along, touching the walls, you do feel that some of them appear to be a little soft, as if they could possibly be broken through by someone, you know, strong and possibly ex-soldier-esque. Yeah, whoever could that be?
Who do I have on my team that could do that? Oh, of course. Kruger, my boy.
I know.
Are you around?
Yes, sir. Of course. What do you need?
Oh, there's some loose wall here. I need some help. I think we can punch way through this. I will need your help here.
Easy. Let's do it.
Okay, can I get you to make a strength check, Kruger? So this should be right above your investigator skills. There will be a little thing called STR for strength.
80.
80. Oh, okay. All right. So Kruger takes a few steps back. Or what's your style? Are we shoulder charging? Are you kicking down the door? What are we looking at here?
Let's do a shoulder charge.
Let's do a shoulder charge. Okay. Rolling and... Oh, you've broken the spree of bad luck with an extreme success. You go through and you burst open. And with one big shoulder charge, rubble goes everywhere. And you are greeted by a small corridor. Unfortunately, it's not a way deeper into the temple. But as you tear through the rubble, you see a collection of strange, mummified creatures. And you would recognize immediately, Professor Finley, that these are mummified dogs. And they're all hidden there. Now, this isn't particularly a find that is going to lead you anywhere, but this is a pretty hard thing to spot, especially in the dark. You've all now discovered a place to hide when things get a little dangerous. And just to give you a little taste of what might be coming, because things might be getting dangerous, as you're clearing the rubble, gathering together again, you hear a loud thump come from deeper within the pyramid, and a strange voice goes, "Roar." You gather up together again. The air is getting staler. Your candle is burning out the air. Ahead of you is this small passage leading deeper in. Behind you is this caved-in wall. What would you like to do?
Let's just keep going. We have to keep going. We have to keep moving.
So to keep going ahead, one of you is going to have to volunteer to squeeze through this terrible small gap. Which of you has the lowest size score? This will be in your player characteristics near where strength was.
I've got 50.
50. Okay. All right. You're not a huge woman. You're relatively small. Is 50 the smallest?
I've got 70.
Whereabouts is it?
Size. So it will be up the top under characteristics, right underneath the details.
50.
Yep.
50.
50.
Yep.
Okay. So the two of you are about the same size. So either of you could volunteer. Kruger, I think, has a little more size. So I imagine he's looking between the two of you, seeing who is going to volunteer to be the guinea pig in this situation.
My thirst for adventure is thriving, so I think I'll head over and
All
take a look.
right. Dr. Sapir, are you happy for the archaeologist to volunteer here?
Yes, yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay,
That's one.
you've spotted above the passage a lot of hieroglyphics of people getting crushed and things like that. And you're like, you know what? I think I'll sit this one out.
And I'm going to keep real quiet about what I've seen as
Yeah.
well.
Okay, probably a good idea. You don't want to terrify anyone. Okay, so you get down on your hands and knees. You begin to crawl through, and you're trying to squeeze. And it's a long passage, and it's taking a while, and you can feel the walls tensing in around you when you're holding this candle out in front of you and you can hardly see. I would like you to make a power check. This is a check for you not to panic alone, trapped in the dark. Now, this will be up the top right near your size and strength.
Top right.
It's
yeah,
POW. POW.
Yep. POW. 40. So
Okay, fantastic.
54.
54. Okay. All right. So unfortunately, with a power of 40, you thought you had this, but no, you don't. And as you two are both kind of sitting on the other side, waiting, looking towards each other, and you hear this faint kind of coming in. In fact, can you give us an impression, Patrick? What's your best panicked yelp?
I need help. I need help. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. I want you to lose 1d4 of sanity.
Yep.
And just mark that down. So roll a 4-sided dice.
3.
3. Okay, so you're going to lose 3 sanity.
Ooh.
You start crawling faster and faster and faster, and finally you burst out the other side. You're in another room, but you hardly have time to watch. You just sort of stumble back. Now, the collection of you do see the light change, and you realize that there is another side, and no one has been crushed. So it does look like this passageway is at least somewhat effective. On the other side, I would like you to make an archaeology test very quickly, Professor Finley.
58.
58. Ah, and your archaeology skill is 70, unless I'm mistaken.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. So, you get to the other side. You remember how you were looking for levers and strange buttons just before?
Mm.
You managed to find one almost immediately. You're sort of standing around, you're looking, and then you just see something in front of you, and it is calming for you
Buttons.
to press it and activate
Buttons.
it. And as your hand presses into this ancient stone slab, which moves through, the collection of you on the other side see the wall begin to and move up, and ancient gears and levers, stuttering a few times and sending some dust trickling down from the ceiling, rise into the air, and suddenly you can all move through this passageway, and the two of you don't even need to crouch down. You can just walk straight ahead. Now, in front of you is gold. Treasure, gems, a fortune. This is some kind of room of, immense wealth. The floor is carpeted with gold coins. There are ancient vases, sculptures, amazing things. There is millions and millions of dollars gathered about here, and that's in money from the 1920s. So this is fortune, and also this is an archaeological find. This is what you wanted, Professor Finley. This is everything. All of you can see the enormous worth here, just scattered across the ground. In fact, there's so many treasures that I want each of you to make up a ridiculously opulent treasure, something amazing, something expensive, and tell me what it is. Sarah, do you want to start? What's a crazy treasure, some kind of amazing artifact that everyone spots? If you'd like, we can jump back to you.
Give me a second.
Okay, take your time. Patrick, what about you?
I find this huge golden statue, like a bust of this really opulent looking pharaoh, and it's got ruby eyes and it's like a multi-jeweled necklace kind of thing, but it's embedded into its bust. I'm like, ooh, there it is.
All right.
There you are.
Truly amazing. Glimmering gemstones. Your eyes have turned to dollar signs. This is fantastic. Chris, what about you?
A big jewel encrusted and embedded vase. This thing is huge.
Okay, fantastic. So this huge vase, you're already thinking what to fill it with, flowers, water, or just more gold so you can carry it out. And what about you, Sarah?
There's what appears to be a sphinx, but it's made entirely from diamond, and it's so big that I think all of us together couldn't even carry it out.
Oh my God, that is awesome. So towards the side, this diamond sphinx leaning forward. The treasures in this place are just amazing, but there's also a little bit of other stuff. So first of all, across to one side of the room, there is a large set of double doors, and they're made of some kind of black stone, maybe obsidian, something like that. And standing on either side of them are these two humanoid statues, one with the head of a jackal and one with the head of an eagle. And they are both holding axes at the end of long spears, sort of like the halberds or something like that, standing guard right next to this door. On the other side of the room, there is also a second door. It's much smaller, and it has rubble around it, as if it's been broken open. There is just one guard next to this one. This time, a statue with the head of a wolf, also holding one of these weapons. As you're all standing there admiring things, making sure your candles don't go out, wax is dripping down onto your hands, and you don't have enough time, once again, you hear a loud coming from the double doors, and you almost think you can hear something stirring, something moving. Finally, there's also a ton of new hieroglyphics in here. Dr. Sapir, if you'd like to take a look at any of those.
Well, I'm looking at the hieroglyphics and I'm seeing something about the guardians of the door. I'm not too sure what their purpose is supposed to be, but if I'm not mistaken, one of those is Anubis, and he's actually the god of the underworld, whereas the other seems to be Horus, who is the god of the sun. So I'm not too sure what we're looking at here, but it seems that these are extremely high-level protective guards guarding something that has either been sealed away inside the temple here or potentially something that's been cursed.
Excellent. So this knowledge is leaping forward. You've studied a lot and you know this kind of stuff. You're pointing, indeed, Horus, Anubis, you're certain you're right. And immediately all the options are leaping through your head. Cursed, locked in, locked out. What is exactly going on here?
I'm curious about those broken. You said there was another two statues. One was broken, one is a wolf as well.
Sorry. There is the doors. One of the doors is broken. The three statues, two guarding the double doors, one guarding the single door, are all intact.
Okay. So I'm more curious about that broken door. Like,
sure,
something broke in or broke out.
Well, do you want to go over and take a look? You can make an archaeology test.
Yeah.
Okay. Now hold off for a second because you're going to walk over there.
Oh boy.
What are you going to do?
I also want to investigate why it was that door. What's so
Okay.
special about this one?
All right, perfect. Okay, so the two of you are heading over, and you're having to like slog through these gold coins at this stage. Now, Dr. Sapir, you've started looking at the hieroglyphics, and you're trying to piece together exactly what's going on. You've already, you've seen this symbology, and as you're walking over, something occurs in the back of your mind when you see a picture of these guardian statues. You think, well, we've seen some technology in here. The doors rose. Maybe there's some kind of technology within these guardian statues. The thought occurs to you just in time to spin around and see the other two go towards the rubble and start to bend down and look, when the wolf-headed statue next to the small door goes and lets its axe fall in a massive, deadly swing. Now, since you were not there, Dr. Sapir, I will leave the terrible choice to you. Who is the axe aiming at? Is it at Professor Finley or is it at Kruger?
Sorry, Kruger, it's totally you.
Kruger, you're probably the best equipped to handle this, I think. So your military training kicks in and suddenly ancient weaponry flying towards you. You didn't really see this in the war, but still same principle applies. I would like you to make for me either a dodge check, and you'll see dodge in your investigator skills. It should be down the bottom of the first column or at the very bottom of your page. There is a quick reference for it. Or you could make a hard strength check. Now, a hard strength check means that you have to get under half. So you have to get that sort of first level of critical hit. And if you do, though, you're going to very coolly kind of reach out and catch the halberd and manage to stop it from falling.
That one sounds pretty good. So the dodge is 50?
Mm-hmm. So you have a better chance of dodging.
Let's go for a dodge.
All right, let's roll. Roll me a dodge check. But we will be rolling a dodge check. Okay, so you dive out of the way like it's nothing. This blade slides down and slams into the coins in front of you, cutting several of them in half. If it had hit you, it could have very easily cleaved your head in, because in Call of Cthulhu, death is very easy. But you've avoided it. You step back, and the statue does not reset or anything like that. It appears to have spent whatever mechanical power it is, maybe something broke inside it, and it remains down. If you'd like, you can reach forward and lever out the axe.
Okay. Oh, it's a bit tough. It really got into those coins. But okay, let's assess what the hell just happened here, and why is this thing not moving all of a sudden?
Did we step on something while we were going through the coins?
Exactly. Did we trigger something?
Brilliant. Okay, so make me that archaeology test that I interrupted you from making earlier, please, Patrick.
That is a 29.
Oh, okay. So that's a hard success. Well done. Okay. All right. So you're immediately able to determine, yes, underneath all the gold, there was a large, basically pressure plate that you appear to have put down. And the thing has stopped because these mechanisms are old. It really only had one in it. Something inside it has snapped after firing. So you don't need to worry about it suddenly coming back to life. Now, the thought does occur to you that the other statues could have a similar thing set up, but that's not really at the forefront of your mind because you're looking at the rubble around this door. And you're remembering a lot of the studies that you have done, and you think that this was blown open with dynamite.
Someone was here.
You can see a tiny room in front of you, very small. If someone went through this door, then presumably remains of them, or maybe they themselves, are still inside. You want to
look around then.
Forward? Yeah.
I'll step back and look around to see if there's any corpses or skeletons that might have been around.
Kruger, you can see sort of the face of the professor turn white as they slowly start to move forward. Do you want to do you have any kind of weapons? Do you want to come in with this axe? Do you want to be at the ready?
I also have a 32 revolver.
All right, you bring some modern weaponry. You want to pull out your gun and be ready to spot anything?
Ready and willing.
Okay, so you are both moving into this small room. Now, Dr. Sapir, this means that you are kind of out by yourself a little bit. Is there anything you'd like to do in this room, or do you want to hurry and join the others?
I mean, I'm feeling a little bit exposed out here on my own.
Yeah, fair enough. So do you want to dart over and join the exodus into this room? Okay, so you run and join the others, and Professor Finley and Dr. Sapir, you both feel a lot safer when Kruger's there with a gun, especially after you've just seen him dive out of the way of this axe. The three of you come into this smaller chamber and you take a look around. There are hieroglyphics here that are far more detailed and far easier for you to recognize, Dr. Sapir. You reckon you'd be able to read them in detail. There is dust and rubble everywhere. And more surprisingly, in the corner, lying on the ground, is a skeleton, still draped in the garb of an archaeologist, holding a little bundle of papers. And in one trailed off hand off to the side is a pistol, and the skull of the creature has been blown apart.
I have a feeling whatever was in the scroll was something he didn't want to know.
These are modern scrolls, I should say. They're not like ancient scrolls. There's like a dossier of papers.
Okay.
Yeah. But still, quite possibly. Some things inside dossiers can be rather disturbing.
Well, I'm a very inquisitive person. I'm going to take a look now.
Okay, you bend down and you go to have a check, but of course you've all just seen a skeleton. So I need Professor Finley and I need Dr. Sapir to both make sanity checks because this is a little concerning. Kruger, you saw much worse than this in the battlefield. So you can be spared a sanity roll at this point. How did you go, Professor Finley?
99.
No, oh no. Okay, we'll come back to you in a second. Dr. Sapir, I'm going to roll for you. Once again, with an extreme success, you were concerned about the hieroglyphics. You're not paying attention as you're having a look. All right, perfect. So, any roll above 98 in Call of Cthulhu is technically what is called a fumble. It's like rolling a 1. It's a terrible thing. Something bad has happened. Now, if your sanity is above 50, it means that you hold yourself together and you only fumble on a roll of 100. Unfortunately, you do not have a sanity of above 50. So upon seeing this, your mind is, this could be you at any point. An archaeologist has died here, having shot themselves, presumably.
I just imagine that's me. That was actually me. That I have a flash.
100%. Yeah, and you can almost see. You suddenly see everybody from the perspective of where this skeleton would be. So you have to take a few steps back and catch your breath, and you're going to lose another D4 of sanity.
Oh, boy. Come on. That's 2.
2, okay, which means you have lost 5 total. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Now, you had 40 sanity starting this, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if you ever lose over 10% of your let me get the exact rules, but I forget what the percentage thing is. You need to not lose 8. If you lose over 8, your character is going to have lost too much in a single day and is going to have a breakdown essentially. And what that could look like, no one knows. So you're over in the corner trying to catch your breath. Dr. Sapir, I'm assuming you're looking at the hieroglyphics?
Yes, that's correct.
Kruger, do you want to pick up the dossier and have a quick look?
Sure thing.
Okay, so first of all, Dr. Sapir, can you remind me of your hieroglyphic skill?
Oh, yes. My hieroglyphic skill is 70.
70. Okay, fantastic. Let's give that a roll. Ooh, 79. So you've just failed. Let me introduce a cool mechanic to you. This is something that is an ability in Call of Cthulhu. Now, you'll notice near your sanity section, you have what's a luck section. Now, luck is, if say that boulders are falling from the ceiling, everyone roll a luck check. Do you get hit? That would be an example of how you use luck. But if you miss by just a few points, like what's happened now, you can spend luck to lower your score and succeed. So you rolled a 79. If you would like to spend 9 points of luck, you can change this roll into a success.
I would like to spend 9 points of luck then.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so meanwhile, Kruger, you pick up the documents and you start to leaf through them. And they are all in German. First of all.
Yeah.
Now, normally, I don't think that the soldier has any German skill, but with a name like Kruger, I think it is possible that you might speak some German. So why don't you roll for me a luck check, and we see if it just so happened that you have a German ancestry and you learned German as a child or something.
Yeah, sounds good, yeah.
All right, great. So what's your luck score? So it should be, you see those boxes, it should be next to the sanity one, there should be a luck one.
Yes. Nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't say
Nothing.
it's
Oh,
circled or
dear.
anything.
Okay. I will double check because you should have some luck at the very least.
There's
let
no
me
circled
check.
number in the luck area.
There is no circled number in the luck area. That is just terrible. All right. Okay. So that's all right. Here's how we're going to figure out everybody's luck in the grand system of dice. So Patrick, you are going to have out of 100, 43 luck.
All right.
Dr.
I'll take
Sophia,
it.
you are going to have out of 100, 78 luck. Well done. And Kruger, you are going to have out of 100, 15 luck. All right. Unilateral decision making. Technically, if we're doing full character creation, we would roll 3d6 and times the number by 5, but we don't have time for that. Let's keep going. So you pick up I'll make your luck check for you.
Yep.
Well, bizarrely, you have succeeded. So on a 15.
With a 15.
All right.
That's pretty
So
good.
as you begin to look through this, you are seeing these are basically entries dated from 1910 to 1916, and they are from the writings of someone called Sasha Kana, who is an archaeologist who has come to this temple and has begun to study it. Now, as you're going through all of these, they begin normally, talking about all the same stuff that you were saying, these excited lines about going into the temple, about being able to explore. But then, bit by bit, it starts to get tenser and tenser. The archaeologist appears to have detected something strange. Then, as they enter the temple for the first time, the journal cuts out and then suddenly comes back in, reading, "They're all dead. We were attacked. Broken necks. We weren't going to be forced inside the tomb. Beware the children of the Sphinx. I plan on waiting a couple of hours in the hope that they have gone. I'll gather some of the jewelry and then make my escape. This place will not be my tomb. I can hear noises. Something else is in here with me." And as you're reading through these passages, Dr. Sapir, you start to read over these hieroglyphics and you can confirm some terrible words. It appears that this isn't a tomb. It's a prison. It's meant to hold something in, hold some terrible beast that will be awakened if it is disturbed. And as you come to this realization, finally, this noise that you've been hearing the entire time grows louder. And as you all spin backwards, peeking your heads out into the central room, you see the two double doors start to rise. And underneath them are two giant claws of some creature lifting it up. Perfect shadowed skin. All of you roll a sanity check and tell me what you're going to do. So first of all, Dr. Sapir.
My linguistics degree did not prepare me for this.
Yes, and finally you have failed the sanity check. So you're going to lose a D4 of sanity. Kruger, you're fine. You know that there's going to be a fight and you feel relatively confident once the fighting starts. There's only one way it goes or the other. Anyway, so how did you go, Professor
38.
Finley?
38.
38. That is, I think it's now a fail. It would have been a pass at the start, but you've
Dang.
lost so much sanity.
No.
Roll a d4. Now remember, you've lost 5 so far. If you lose 8, we're in trouble.
That's a 2.
Oh, you've got 1 left. Okay, so you're still
I've gotta
managing to
die.
cling to sanity just for the moment, and this thing is rising, and you can see underneath this enormous creature of some sort with perfect shadowed skin is lifting it up, and this deep roaring noise as it begins to rise the obsidian doors. What are you doing? I need to know what each of you are doing. Your candles are flickering. Yep, you're right. You're running. Where are you running?
I'm running back to that room that we discovered, like back over there, past the gold room.
You run back in and you find yourself just next to the dead body. You think, oh, this isn't a particularly safe place, but you're already kind of committed. You can see the doors rising further and further. Dr. Sophia, what about you?
We need to take note of the hieroglyphics before we get out of here. So I'm frantically taking notes in the hieroglyphics room. You've
got sort of charcoal out and you're taking scratchings, everything you possibly can. Kruger, standing in the middle of the room, candle in one hand, gun in the other.
Whilst Dr. Sophia is getting those hieroglyphics, I've got to distract this thing, whatever it is. We need to buy time.
Fantastic. All right. So how are you going to distract it? You're going to just sort of get close and, hey, pick on someone your own size kind of thing.
Pretty much. I've got the gun. I've got nothing to lose and I'm ready for a fight.
All right. Tell me your intimidate skill.
40.
40. Okay. Let's have a try. Ooh, 79, unfortunately. So you yell. Now, you distract this thing, certainly. It is looking towards you, but it's not scared. With one great, the creature throws up the door, and it locks into place behind some mechanism. The whole pyramid shakes, and you can see this thing's face, a huge, snarling jackal head with smoke, black smoke drifting out of its eyes. And it turns towards you, and it has strange long claws made of shadow, and it charges forward with brilliant speed for its size. And he's going to make a swing directly for you. Now, what's your dodge again?
50.
50. You failed the dodge, but it failed the hit. So you're frozen, but it manages to sort of stumble, and as its claws go through, they rake through the stone, just tearing and sending splinters of masonry off. This thing is powerful. If you get hit, you might be cut in half. Meanwhile, over in the other room, you finish the scratchings, you pull down, you've got all these papers, and Professor Finley, as you're looking at the body terrified, you notice that to its side, it has a small purse of dynamite. What are you all doing? Once again, start with Kruger this time. What are you doing?
Gathering myself, checking the chamber of my gun to make sure everything's loaded in there. And we got to get out of here. We got to go.
Right. So are you going to try and hold this thing back and let the others escape, or are you going to try and just leave?
Buy them time. You guys get out of here. I'll empty the chamber and then I'll go.
You are a noble soul. Okay. So we'll come back to you as you try to empty the chamber. Dr. Sapir?
Look, Professor John looks like he's kind of losing it a bit. I need to get him out of here. So now that I've got my scratchings, I'm going to grab him and I'm going to run back to Kruger so that we can all escape together.
All right. So, Professor Finley, you start to be pulled along absentmindedly.
No. There's something there. I've got to get that. And I just point towards the dynamite. I need to grab that. I have matches. I can take this thing out. Let me grab it.
You grab the dynamite, you pull it, and you drag it forward. Now the two of you are now being pulled into the open. Dr. Sapir, you were trying to pull Professor Finley back towards the entrance, is what I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Now, Professor Finley, with this, you might be able to blow a hole in the entrance and escape. Otherwise, you could try and fight this thing, and you can also see behind the door where it came, it's another room. Maybe there are more things there, but you don't have time. What are you going to do? Where do you want to go?
We have to survive this. We can come back later with more people. So I grabbed the dynamite. And do I know how long it takes to light the dynamite? Will it just blow up immediately when I light it?
You'll have to make a guess, but you probably want to light it once you get to the door if you're going to try and blow the door open.
Yeah. All right. So I'm just going to grab it and just go with her. Just one put.
Okay.
Breathe a puddle of coins.
All right. So, Dr. Sapir, you're managing to lead the terrified Professor Finley forward, push him along. You turn back just in time to see Kruger share one last glance at you as he turns to buy you time. And then the two of you sprint around the corner. Do either of you have any what might be potentially last words of good luck or encouragement that you say to each other? Silence is also fine. Sometimes nothing can be said. You share a terrified look, then bang, you're both running down the hallway. Kruger, I want you to make a firearms test. So tell me what your firearms pistol score is.
60.
All right. We've got the dice. They're good shots. They're good shots. You spin around
Yes,
with a 22.
yes.
That is a hard success. Bam, bam, bam. Slam 3 shots into the creature. But this is Call of Cthulhu. And guns don't always work. And as the bullets slam into the creature, it flinches maybe a little bit, about as much damage as hitting myself in the chest does. It keeps moving towards you, reaching out with its hands. This time, it doesn't miss the hit. Now, Patrick, can I get you to make a dodge check for Kruger? Because I think it's more interesting than me doing it.
Okay. $40.
40. Oh, that's enough. You scramble back from these claws that are tearing along the ground. Meanwhile, the two of you get to the door. You can see all this dynamite. You start placing it down. Archaeology and dynamite. You know, the fields are comparable. Make an archaeology check for me, Patrick.
It'll work, yep. 58.
58. Okay, that's a pass. You set the dynamite. It's going to take you a minute, and the two of you step back. There is this massive explosion a moment later, and the doorway is blown open. You can see outside the racing desert wind, and all of your companions waving towards you. They're very surprised to see you and delighted that you managed to find a way out. But inside, all the temple starts moving. Dr. Sapir, you can tell that things are collapsing. Everything is beginning to fall down. So, what I'd like you to do is make a dexterity check, right? Now, this is going to be whether you can dive free yourself and whether you can maybe push out Professor Finley as well. So, what is your dexterity score?
45.
45. Okay, I'm going to make this roll. Ooh, 96. So you are just frozen for a second. You're not going to be able to get anyone out just yet, which means we're going to jump back to inside. Rocks are falling everywhere. There is tumbling stuff. You've managed to buy time, Kruger, which is amazing that no one's died yet. You spin around and you begin to tear forward. The creature is going after you, screaming, howling. Now, Professor Finley, your sanity has broken almost. So I'm going to say you just leave. You don't stay behind to help the others. You just want to go. So you take a couple of steps stumbling out and start scrambling up. You've escaped. You've survived. Well done. On the inside, Dr. Sapir, you can see Kruger running forward, desperate to try and make it towards the gate, and this terrible being of shadow chasing after him. Now, you can choose. You can step out yourself, and you won't even have to make a roll. You'll just be free. But if you do that, Kruger will have no chance, and Kruger will be crushed by all of the falling debris. Otherwise, you can sprint forward, you can grab Kruger, and the two of you can run out together, and you'll both have to make a dexterity check. And as long as one of you succeeds, you'll both get out. Would you like to risk everything to try and save Kruger?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, fantastic. All right. So with that in mind, both of you tell me your dexterity.
I'm 65.
65 and?
45.
Okay. Rolling against the 65 first. Kruger. That is a 37, so that is a success. And rolling against the 40. 45, but you've still got a ton of luck. So I think it is entirely reasonable that you just spend it. And you know what? You're going to make me look bad here by surviving a Cthulhu campaign.
Yeah.
The two of you grab each other and you tear forward and you're running out of the Necropolis and you burst forward and the hot sands are swirling around you. This creature, as it leans forward, screams, but the masonry crumbles down. And as you all rush away from the pyramid, it sinks into the ground entirely, the stones collapsing until all of a sudden there is just a flat plane of sand and the collection of you are left clutching no treasure, but a scrap of papers containing information, which perhaps is a great treasure after all. We've only got a few minutes left, but can I get everybody to give me a quick epilogue for their character? What happens to you? What do you do in the years following?
On the verge of losing my mind, I'm just like, my mind constantly thinks about the treasure that I left behind, and it haunts me constantly. I also think about how I nearly killed the other two by bringing them in there and leaving most of them behind, nearly killing them. So I spend the rest of my years kind of like in regret, sorrow, and just drinking constantly. You know?
It is a terrible fate, but one that is common amongst investigators. Dr. Sapir, what about you?
Well, obviously the discovery makes me a super successful linguistics,
Yeah.
But I find that the more I translate the hieroglyphics that we found, the more I start to have these strange dreams that keep trying to draw me back to Egypt. I can't get it out of my mind. So I also end up going a little bit nuts.
Oh, perfect. I love it. Haunted by strange dreams of a shadowy figure in the dark. Excellent. That's great. Kruger, what about you?
After being inspired by Dr. Sapir's courageous movement and choice, I decided to start teaching archaeology at the local university, forgetting my fighting ways, but also am a severe alcoholic because of what happened.
All right, brilliant. Everyone goes a bit insane, and I love it. There you go. Yeah, Cthulhu gets you in the end. Thank you so much for playing. That is the Necropolis. Remember, you can find more Call of Cthulhu games at chaosium.com. And can I get the cast just to tell us where you can find more of your awesome stuff and a little more about yourselves?
Yeah, you find me. I use Twitter a little bit. At NG Footman. That's it.
Brilliant.
Seth?
Yeah, find me on Instagram, Sare Cosplay. That's SARE Cosplay. Hope to see you there.
Brilliant.
And Cosplay Chris on YouTube and cosplay_Chris on Instagram.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Chris. You've all been wonderful. Thank you to all the audience, and enjoy the rest of Nexus Con, everybody. See you later.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.